Hi everyone, it's Margaret Manning here, and welcome to Mornings with 60andMe. Today is Tuesday, it's August 9th. So welcome to a new day. I hope that you're doing well. I want to welcome you all here to Mornings with 60andMe and thank you for your support. This is your show. This is your program. Time for you to get together as a community and to get up to speed on what's going on in the news and invite a friend to join you. Have a conversation afterwards about the things that we discuss. And if you want to hear the news first, you can go up to 60andme.com/mornings and you'll get the alerts first. So again, thank you for being here. Now, I'll bring you up to speed on what's going on in the news, and then I can tell you a few stories that I hope will inspire you. And I've got a special person to acknowledge today, to give a shout out to. So first of all, the news. In Pakistan yesterday, there was a very tragic terrorist attack. It was in the town of Quetta. And what happened was there was a prominent lawyer who had been shot earlier in the day and was taken to hospital. And a group of his friends, journalists, and other people followed him to give their respects and to be there for him. And while they were at the hospital, a terrorist suicide bomber blew himself up and it killed 70 people and wounded about 120. It was such a tragic event because, not only was it a horrible terrorist act, but all the people who were killed knew each other. They were friends who had gone to support this other lawyer. So Pakistan is no stranger to terrorism. There's been years of activity there, but this was a particularly horrific event, and our hearts go out to everyone that was affected. In Ethiopia, over the weekend, there were demonstrations there against the government, and the government has kept things under control in Ethiopia for some time, but this demonstration turned violent, and the police opened fire and killed about 60 people, and to keep order. And so the demonstration was really about a common theme, that ethnic minorities were feeling that they weren't getting a fair share of opportunity in the country and were speaking their minds, against the government regime. And so that's another situation to keep an eye on. It just seems like everywhere in the world these days, this kind of dialogue is taking place, and it's very, very sad. In Turkey, President Erdogan is off to Russia today. He's going to meet with Vladimir Putin. It's the first meeting they've had face-to-face since a fairly important event a few months ago when the Turkish army shot down a Russian plane over Syria. And it was quite a serious issue for a while, and the relationship between Russia and Turkey deteriorated. And tourists from Russia stopped going to Turkey, and there was just a general breakdown in communication. So today, the two leaders are going to be meeting to talk about, how to rebuild the relationship, how to build a stronger bond, and especially in the light of recent comments by President Erdogan that the Western countries and the NATO countries did not give him the support that he felt he needed after the recent coup attempt in Turkey. So that's another situation to watch as those political maneuvering takes place. I haven't actually covered the US election very much recently, and I wanted to just take a minute to get us up to speed. Things change so often in this dialogue, and there's all kinds of different perspectives and lenses through which the news is reported. So I want to be objective about it and just give you the data and then let you make your own decisions and thoughts about it. So in the States, Donald Trump spoke yesterday in Detroit. He talked mostly about the plans he has to improve the economy. He talked about streamlining and simplifying the tax system, about redistributing taxes, supporting corporate tax benefits, and he has his own point of view on that. He also yesterday, though, got a vote of no confidence from about 50 foreign policy makers who put a letter together to say that they were not going to support him in his run for the presidency. So there's two sides to what's going on with the Republican Party and the divisions that seem to be still very strong. Hillary Clinton spoke yesterday also about the economy, talked about how her plan is to strengthen the middle class, to give tax benefit to that group, and both of them are struggling with a perception problem. However, about 34 to 36% of the people in the United States feel that they do not trust or feel both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, to be very honest. So it's a challenge for both the candidates. But that's what's going on. Oh, another interesting thing that happened yesterday was a gentleman called Evan McMullen, who has absolutely no name recognition at all, has thrown his hat in the ring as an anti-Trump candidate, and we will see how that plays out. Very interesting developments. So something that happened yesterday that I wanted to share with you, which is very important, should be to all of us, is that the Earth experienced what was called the Earth Overshoot Day. Now, we all know that the Earth has limited resources, and in terms of water and gas and air, and that every year environmental groups do a kind of an analysis of when the Earth, the people on the Earth, have used all the resources that the Earth can rebuild in 1 year. And every year it ends up being, less than a year. So last year, I think it was September, October, where we reached that point where we have used more resources than the Earth can create. This year, it was August the 8th, yesterday. And this is, of course, very alarming because, we know that there's things we can do in terms of recycling water, reusing natural resources, and also making changes to our consumption patterns. In fact, there was an interesting point to this article that said, if everybody in the world lived like people do in the United States, you would need 4 planets to support the use of natural resources. And in other countries like India, for example, where there's a much larger population, they use far less, percentage-wise, far less natural resources. So I think there's a lot for all of us to do to change this pattern and to protect the natural resources that our Earth produces. So that's just some food for thought for a Tuesday. So I forgot to mention the Olympics because they, of course, are going on all around us right now. It seems to be the main news everywhere, and I could spend hours talking about all the things that went on yesterday, all the people that competed, all the great gold medals that were won. But I'll just raise a couple and share with you some of the interesting stories that I found. Now, there's lots of countries who have never won a gold medal. So it was kind of interesting news to learn that Vietnam won its first ever Olympic gold medal. Kosovo also won, I think it was its first medal in the Olympic Games. A woman called Malinda Kalmendi won by winning gold in judo. And swimmers were just rocking yesterday. It was the Swimmers' Day, and there were some great performances. The first Swedish gold medal was won by Sarah Schrotstam, and she won the 100-meter butterfly. Adam Peaty won the first gold for Britain as a swimmer in the, I think he won the freestyle. Katie Ledecky, who is on Team USA, she beat her own world record and won a gold medal for, I think it was for freestyle as well. So she's doing amazing, and I think has gone on to win some other medals as well. Chinese swimmer Su Yang won 200-meter freestyle. He won the gold. And so it's just countries all over the world are joining in the celebration, and the performance in these events are just remarkable. In fact, I think everybody who showed up is remarkable. And you want to congratulate everybody for the effort and for just doing their very, very best. But there were some pretty remarkable swimmers yesterday. So we'll keep looking at that, and also looking for countries that have never won a gold medal or any medal in the Olympic Games. Countries like Rwanda, St. Kitts, Honduras, Jordan, Fiji, Bosnia-Herzegovina, and according to some sports analysts, they have a good chance of doing well and maybe winning that first Olympic medal. So this event's for everybody. I just get so excited by just the humanity of it, the unity that everyone brings to the games. But everything seems to be going fine in Rio. We'll see. It's a big game, they're on the map this time. They're under the microscope. So far they're doing great. Now, I wanted to talk about something that we actually do have a conversation about a lot on 60andMe, and that is reinvention. And a lot of women in their 60s like to do things in their 60s when they're free to just follow their passions. And sometimes when we're younger, we have obligations with family, work, children, but then it's time in our 60s to do our thing and do what we really have always wanted. And I picked up an article, I'll leave the link for you so you can review it, about what's called a gap year. And, usually kids, children, young people from high school to college take a year off, and they just kind of have a break between school to explore the world. And those are the kind of people that normally take a gap year. But this article is about older people like us taking gap years. And these are just opportunities to go somewhere in the world or even in your own country and do something that you've always wanted to do. It doesn't have to be a year. It can be 3 months or a few months or many years. But here are some ideas that this article offers. First of all, they suggest that if you're in the States, if you're an American citizen, you can join the Peace Corps. The Peace Corps actually has no age limit. And I've read articles about people in their 60s, 70s, 80s still contributing in the Peace Corps. So that's an option for you. They have 3-month, to several year programs. Another thing you can do is to do volunteerism. Now, this is where you go to a country and volunteer your services based on what you might have done in your life. If you have developed skills or have expertise in engineering or teaching, business, sustainability, anything that you are good at and you love doing can be of value to countries that, especially developing countries, where they're not, not maybe as equipped. So these often are sponsored though, so you have to look for the ones that are right for you in the right countries and that are affordable. They do cost money. So that's another idea though, to volunteer. Another thing is to join a Rhodes Scholar program. Now, Rhodes Scholar is a unique organization. We actually do have a partnership with Rhodes Scholar, and the suggestion here is that you attend one of their learning adventures. And these are holidays or trips where you go and to follow a theme. So perhaps you want to learn about art and architecture, or you want to explore nature in a place like the Grand Canyon or the Utah State Parks, or just or do a cruise where you explore antiquity in the countries of the old world, or follow the Silk Route. There's lots of opportunities to take a year, a shorter time, to actually go and just discover. Now, the Rhodes Scholar programs, of course, are just a couple of weeks, but you could do several over a year or mix it up a bit. So the other thing you could do is house sitting. A lot of women in our community do house sit or do house sharing, house exchange, and this is a perfect way to be in a city where you can live as a local and really get to know the place and explore just the places that you've always wanted to see. That's another thing. Final idea that this article offers is to try teaching English as a foreign language, and I know people that do this, and you've got to choose the right country and the place that you love to be, and you can really do well with this, because usually you're often paid, your room and board is covered, and sometimes there's actually even people will pay for your plane fare to come out to their country and teach English. It's a very positive way to think about doing that gap year and working at the same time. So those are some ideas. I mean, I think the key thing is just to have fun and do something you love. And that's take that gap year, maybe gap month, gap quarter, and do something for you, something special. So my final article or piece is that yesterday I asked you to contribute to me a story about your own life in your 60s. And I said, if you've done something that you think is interesting or brave or wonderful or challenging for you, to just leave a note in the section below, and I would pull one person every day and feature them as 60 and me, woman of the day, someone who's doing something that they love in their 60s. And so today I've chosen someone called Judi, and I'll read you about Judi. Okay, so Judi, when she was about 60, she started drawing. And now that she's retired, she draws almost every day. It's her passion. She draws birds, butterflies, flowers, and Judi now lives in Chicago, and she is starting to paint with oil and acrylics, which is something she has never done before. So Judi, congratulations. You're doing great in your 60s. It's wonderful to start something new that you've never done, and good luck with your next phase of your painting passion. So if you've got a little story about yourself that you'd like to share, I'd love to feature you tomorrow. Just leave it in the comment section below. I'm just so proud of everybody in our community, by the way. I know you're all doing wonderful things, and I just loved having this opportunity every day to feature one of you. So please contribute. So my question for the day, normally I ask you a question about something that we've featured in the news show or something that's on my mind. And I love to have a conversation started about, how we feel about these things. But today I'd like to turn it around a bit. And I would like my question to be as follows. What is the one question that you would like every woman in the 60 and Me community to answer? What's a question that you would like answered? Just leave your comments in the section below. We'll have a dialogue and compare notes. But just simply, what is the one question that you would like every woman in the 60 and Me community to answer? Thanks again for being here, everyone. I'll see you again tomorrow for Mornings with 60 and Me. Have a fabulous Tuesday, everyone.